going to be a bit of a wild time. Alright, back to action. And we go into Amphion, one of these maps that is close by air. We'll see how much ByuN tries to abuse that. If I had to make a guess, that would be what I guess is maybe going to happen across the course of this game. Our blue Terran player top left-hand side from the Shopify Rebellion is, in fact, ByuN. Takes on a Dark. Saw a great game on this map between... it was this one, right? Between Hero and Wayne. Yeah, that's a great game. These kind of maps are kind of a bit funky, but honestly, they've been very fun to follow generally. Very excited to see how all of that continues to pan out and all the rest. Dark in the bottom left-hand side. Our red Zerg player. Of course, from Dragon Kaiser Gaming. Yeah, I like this map. It's kind of fun. It's got mineral wall-offs to get into that left-hand side. So it's kind of Golden Wall-esque, but it's going to be... I feel like this map can be very fun in TVZ. We'll see how the Zerg tries to expand. We'll see how the Terran tries to control it. The Zerg will probably just expand towards the bottom right from Dark's position, right? If he goes like along the bottom, then takes those two corner bases, that's actually quite difficult for ByuN to harass into. ByuN's benefit is he could maybe take the forward bases and really press forward because of it, so could be kind of cool. Be interesting to see what positions ByuN has come up with on this map, what sort of setups he feels like is good. Because we know, like I said earlier, ByuN is one of the guys that has been looking at these maps, has been trying to prepare a little bit before his games. So let's see what he's been able to come up with. He oftentimes is coming up with some very cool positions and very cool ideas of how to approach these maps, despite them being very fresh maps for all intents and purposes. Dark and ByuN have been very chatty with each other as of late, actually. They've been constantly talking. Dark, did ByuN really do a Reaper expansion? ByuN just says, Anyang Haseyo, actually. I guess I could have read that bit myself. Yeah, these two really do have some fun chatting with each other as of late. I was like, yeah, it's not super aggressive out of ByuN. It's not multiple barracks. It's not multiple Reapers. It's just fairly standard to start off with, as we do have ourselves. Going on, obviously, yeah. ByuN has not actually got a Reaper, so it's not a Reaper expand. And ByuN is, yeah, trying to figure out where it went. Yeah, he's he's trying to keep Dark paddling along, guys. Yeah, these guys are fun. Let's go see Dark with a bit of character as well, you know. Not that Dark's being characterless, he's usually like the villain almost, though, but you know, when I feel like he becomes a bit more human almost when I see him interacting with ByuN and having a couple laughs and making a bit of fun stuff, you know, so that was cool. Shout out to Crank, of course, translating for us a little bit today. So he just casting the games on his own stream in Korean. He's just going to help us to understand the fun and games that these two are having with one another in these early stages. There's a few Marines going to nip at the Overlord that sits up on that pillar, so got a little bit of damage on that. A few more Lings continue to come across to the other side. Bye, says Dark, I think. And confirms he does in fact say bye as he keeps his Overlord up. And the Ling's actually going to run into this natural for a couple of moments, try and find a little bit of cheeky damage here. As the Ling's actually going to start surrounding those Hellions. The Hellions turn back into the natural, which means they get surrounded. They actually could have gotten free, but then the turnaround back into the natural where the Lings were able to surround them was a pretty big deal. Banshee Hellions, Cloak still coming up as we just see the Lings continue forward. I'm not sure if ByuN's going to be okay here, guys. We might have a much quicker closeout to this game than we want to see. I was so excited to see this map after it was so cool between Hero and Wayne yesterday. Unfortunately, it looks as though this is not quite working very well at all. As we have some Lings continuing through, just going to get rid of a couple of depots. Drone's still coming about, a couple of spores coming in. Queen's on the ways up. As we do have Hellions and the cloaking continuing in, the armory continues to build. Those Lings continuing around on the bottom. As again, spores, drones, and queens all continue to produce. Well, ByuN didn't die. He obviously took more damage than he maybe should have done there, but you know, the game goes on. He does survive. I think that's maybe the most important thing right now, that we at least still have a game of this. Those Lings continue to patrol around, and the Banshee will come through for a little bit of additional damage. So far, Dark's defense continues to be pretty good, so it really seems to just be all about ByuN not really succeeding in dealing damage. He's going to finish an armory, so he's going to try and go with some Hellbats, go with a little bit more of an aggressive push. Dark is droning away. He does have 21 Lings, though, and he does have the Roach Stone. I guess that's not going to come into really play a role here. Hellbats morph in. Banshee's going to be there. A couple Lings getting turned around. The Queen's still getting chased away a little bit as well. Banshee's still just overhead and firing it up. Hellbats moving back over to the right-hand side, where they're going to go after those Lings a little bit further one more time. And they're just going to be getting back onto these Queens once more. And dealing just a little bit more damage right there with that. Is it enough? I mean, you're going to get rid of a lot of Lings, but I feel like not even getting rid of any of the Queens is really kind of not a victory for ByuN. Because if you're not even really disrupting the Queen count, Dark is just droning. You know, he didn't even really need extra units to deal with this. I feel like this is very simply not enough out of ByuN. And unfortunately, this game is very quickly becoming a bit of a letdown on the Terran side of things. ByuN is going to continue to build into more factories. He's going to continue to try and play mech from here. We'll see if mech can find some kind of magical comeback, but this is just very much so being dark for game number 1. Dark had a shaky start as well earlier on against Mana as well. But very narrowly could have been Mana's series across all 3 games. Mana probably could have won all 3. Wasn't meant to be. Dark did get that win. A win against ByuN would put him in a great position. He still has max packs left to play. ByuN still has Mana left to play. Max packs obviously needs to probably beat Dark as well to fight for playoff position. This group's going to start getting very close, considering it's just 4 players, round robin, and only 2 players can advance. One of the legends of ByuN, Max packs, and Dark will be heading home. Mana was an underdog coming in, of course. Like I say, the way he played against Dark gave you some belief, and unfortunately losing that means it's going to be very tough for him to advance, even if he does find a victory over ByuN. Very possible if he brings the same kind of fire he brought against Dark. I could absolutely be made to believe it. Because, yo, on your own, thank you so much for the 18-month resub on the Prime as well. Appreciate it. I'll get you on the tree after this game. Happy holidays to you as well. Well, mech from ByuN. I mean, Dark is just building up in the roaches. He's getting the Baneling speed ready, so he's going to have that to help him out across the course of this as well. Really does just look very good on the side of Dark. I mean, he is expanding kind of how I expected him to towards that right side. I think what's really cool is now that bottom right base almost comes freely, because it's, you know, you've already got a base in front of it that hasn't been too hard to keep a hold of, so cool to see that. This few Roach is going to go slashing away on some of the rocks. As the Banshees show up, some Queens will take some damage. Marines are still going to be here, meeting the Roaches once again. Cyclone and a few more Marines come down. Going to try and join up. Obviously, the Marines are just kind of leftovers, remnants from the early game. Artifacts of a time long gone where ByuN was playing with some bio units. Now it's all about the mech and all about the Banshees, which, to be fair, again, some good damage on these Roaches, but that's all the damage they're really finding. It's not exactly the super game-changing kind of situation you maybe need it to be. Banshees continue to move about. Cyclones are continue to produce in big numbers. That's going to be a big part of what ByuN tries to do here as well. Probably try and find a lot of efficiency off those Cyclones in the near future and just see if you can get success with those. Well, drone's going down. Banshee's still trying to find ways in. Generally, Dark's defense is pretty solid, though. It's definitely not letting this slip away into anything that it shouldn't be. He's just keeping very good control of these situations, and yeah, I mean, even when the Banshees start to seemingly do a little bit of harass, it's for the most part still got things under control. And the Cyclones come back over. ByuN is expanding aggressively, taking the forward base, the far right forward base as well, so he is really just going to try and get those expansions up. Now, he's got to take some risks. He's definitely been trailing in the game, so taking a couple risks like this is absolutely not a bad call. This is the sort of stuff that can absolutely keep you afloat and maybe give you a shot where, you know, there wasn't a shot to be had before. chance is better than no chance, right? Infestors do not find a fungal there. Do not lock the Cyclones down to allow the units to get kills on them. So another small victory for ByuN, who, again, is really one bad fungal growth away from losing his entire army, and then that could just spell out disaster on its own accord as well. So that too has to be a something in consideration, I suppose, across the course of this. So a lot of units just going to load up. Drop lords are going to come around over to the left-hand side is the plan. So over to the left we go with the overlords. Take those over to that direction. Mix up a little bit as we move across. And get ready to drop in towards the main base. So into the main we head and get set to rumble. Not a bad choice against mech, right? Taking these fights elsewhere, making them spread out, making them pull their defense apart is the kind of thing that mech is not going to be able to deal with easily. So just playing like that as Dog gives you a much better chance of, seeing success in these fights and in these trades. You actually just push forward here. The defensive position of ByuN is very good. That's why the drop in the main base might be the real thing to look at. That might be where Dog really is able to find some of his success. So far, I would say definitely the case. A couple of spawning tanks go down immediately. There's nothing here defensively. ByuN having to pull everything back to be able to deal with this at all. Cyclone Hellions coming across. The Hydras will be getting shot down. A few more Zerglings being denied as well. All of these Hydras will fall. The Zerglings will be dropping. Still got more army from Dog out in the center. That's my... Now my internet's lagging. Nice, nice. Everything's going well today, guys. What a great stream we're having of the day. Oh, yeah. Welcome back, guys. First, I crashed my StarCraft twice in one day. We lose sound. Now my internet wants to die. We are making one hell of a stream today, I'm telling you. It's a stream of legends. Alright. Good news is that was a very quick little blip. It seems as though we did not have too much interruption. We are back on track. Lings, roaches, and a few Hydras into the center. And we just have ourselves the army from ByuN out into the center of the map as well. Spire, greatest Spire, everything coming through. And this army of ByuN out in the center. Couple Banshee on the left side will go after that hatchery. Kind of cancel. I mean, that might have been a little bit too much of an extreme hatch to take. As Dog establishes the hatch on the 9 o'clock position, I actually kind of love that. I think that's a great place to play from. Couple more shots coming out. The Cyclone tank force will fight back against the rest of this from Dark. And again, that's the one thing Dark's not been able to do. He's had troubles pushing through the map into this mech force. The defense from ByuN that's been set up has actually been pretty darn good. And he's actually been consistently able to stop his opponent from, maybe making moves that would end the game. Obviously, the drop lords have been effective. They've been something that you've not been able to stop necessarily as ByuN. But if that's the only thing that's really kind of not going your way, then it can work out a little bit. We're all going to fire it up. 18 SCVs already going down. I'm just going to have ourselves the Knight is popping up into the main. Still moving forwards here. Lurkers are going to fire. I mean, realistically, ByuN just starting to lose all over. We saw ByuN losing this game about 10 minutes ago. And it's been a duel to stay alive. Tree, not necessarily because of the tree crashing, but because people genuinely complained about saving the environment. And that writing names on hundreds of baubles and then throwing them away every year was a little bit of a waste. Which is kind of true. Because they couldn't be recycled, so we got we just use the paper tags now instead. We have some fancier stuff for people. It's actually much easier as well. My room is much less chaos because when we used to do the back in the day, like my desk was just full of glitter from all the baubles, and I had like 7 baubles on my desk at a time waiting to be written on and stuff. It's much easier now. Much easier nowadays. It wasn't because the tree fell over, though. I thought it was kind of fun when the tree fell over that year. That was a long time ago, though. That was actually like 5+ years ago, guys. Like 6 years ago or something that the tree fell over. We've never seen subs like it since. Up one in the bottom left-hand side, another map that's close by air. This is also Golden Wall-esque with mineral wall off to access the bottom side of the map. It is dark in the bottom left corner. And in the bottom right, it is going to be our red Terran player. This is ByuN, the Shopify Rebellion. At least 5 years? Yeah, I mean, I was in my, I wasn't even in my apartment then. I was in my studio, so it was like actually like 2017 or so. Legitimately 2017, I think. ByuN toying with Dark again to start the game. You guys think ByuN has a reputation for being the trolliest Terran player? These two definitely have some fun with one another. ByuN says Dark is good at dancing. Do you think he means real dancing or just dancing StarCraft units? Links be coming up, Simpack, and a few Marines on the way. The factory is in production as well. We'll see, this is going to be 2 barracks from ByuN, so he's looking to play in a very simple kind of way. Just kind of with the 2 racks. Strong eco to start, into the barracks, into the pressure. It's a ByuN classic, really. It's just one of those things that ByuN absolutely loves to do, absolutely loves to try and capitalize on. That's exactly what he's going to be going for right now. So getting that all set up as a Marine comes, or an SCV comes down to that low ground, just going to open up that wall of minerals a little bit. Start getting access down to the bottom side of the map. Marine cannon, just joining up then a little bit on the natural, just getting everything set there. Because you do have the land, the road run continuing to produce through, with a few more drones on the way in. And yeah, overall just continuing out as well as just continuing to build a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Drones and the lair, everything producing. Tech lab on the way up as well on the side of ByuN, so we get that on the go. Marines and a couple of medevacs also producing for the moment. Again, just a little bit of everything for our early stages. This game. Number 2, obviously waiting for these medevacs, and these Marines will go across the map, and then we'll have a little bit more excitement in play. Because then, of course, you'll be able to see ByuN really pressuring on that other side and looking to really find some damage. Obviously coming through this bottom side, ByuN could have an overload or so over here, but of course it would probably be just dying to this drop at this stage, so just trying to keep the pathway clear. As Dark is already moving his way into roaches, he's going to get up to 10 roaches here in just a second. A few Marines unloading, now reloading. Going to go back across. Just going to stem in. Obviously, one of their main goals can be just to clean up the creep spread here initially, right? You don't necessarily need to do something, you know, too crazy just yet. Just clean up some creep spread can be a very good start. Just gives you more control of the game for a later stage, for a later push. It's almost never about winning the game right now. It's much more about setting up for winning the game later on. Unless you see your opponent's made a very serious mistake, which at this level of play doesn't happen very often. To that sort of extent, at least. It's gold-based, blocked by some minerals, so you have to be able to deal with those mineral blocks before you can take that gold, which is kind of a cool factor. Dissuades Zergs from taking it super early, right? Makes it a little bit of a fairer base where both players gain access to it at a bit of a, you know, more equal timing. archers and come chase those medevacs down, still stopping the drop from being all that effective. Just trying to keep on top of that, still trying to keep that well under control. As a few more Marines unload from the medevacs, and once more we'll just go for a couple of troop tumors, I have to imagine, over these next few moments. Couple troop tumors out the front, we'll absolutely be in some trouble. Knocking down one, the Roach Ravager coming over as well. Just seeing the medevacs loading up those Marines, bringing them away. Just one attack upgrade coming through on the engineering bay as well, so we continue to bring that through for the moment. Marines unloading, going to go after an Overlord as well, so a little bit more damage over on this left side. Marines still up on the top, a few more Marines and medevacs out down the bottom. Seeing the Infestors coming up, the Roach is still in production, Overlords as well. Everything continuing as the Hive continues into play also. 9 OVs coming up. I think got those couple siege tanks going through. Just going to be seeing our Roach is still moving back over to the right hand side. Another siege tank through the bottom. So just going to be seeing +2 missiles, +2 carriers coming in. The Ultra Cavern in production as well. There is a command center now being placed here from ByuN. Just going to get that into position. 2 Marines going to pick away at a crypt tumor. And just access on this bottom side being created. Again, the more that ByuN can control and hold back and pin dock, the better off he's going to be feeling. Thank you so much, Klebos, for the 4-month resub. Welcome back. And appreciate the resubscriptions, guys. Thank you so much for supporting. Allows us to keep on running them StarCraft tournaments. Casting them as well. Thank you so much. This one was a special on the TLMC. Shout out to Monster Energy once again, allowing us to have a TLMC still. They are the reason this tournament exists. Not just the StarCraft games, but the actual map contest itself. Without them, we might have a lot bigger issues in terms of trying to get maps established in the SC2 scene still. Marines join up with the medevacs. Roach Ravager going to start pushing through. It's going to be seeing our 2-2 upgrades on the way from ByuN. Already Ultra's just on the way from Dark, so he clearly kind of has a rough idea of what his next stage would like to be. So just getting that straight up and running, getting that straight into play for the moment. Let's just continue to dance around in the main base for that teeny tiny bit longer. Again, 2-2 upgrades still in production. Marines and Marauders on the way out. The position in the center is actually kind of cool, using the mineral wall. Obviously some rocks here can be taken down. That provides a different route of access, so an interesting little position for sure. You see these units continue to go one way then the other. Not going to take a moment, probably complaining about the position ByuN has. Probably saying something along the lines of, if I had to make a guess, that's pretty disgusting. Doc, what's wrong with this map? yeah, that'll do it. Say words to that effect were my expectation, and I'd say that that's fairly realistic. Marines dropping off over here, 1 Queen going down. Looks as though this Ultra Cavern goes down as well, so that's going to be a good grab. ByuN just launching attacks from this bottom side of the map. Absolutely loving these positions, absolutely working on making the most of those. Medevac still actually hit by a parasitic bomb, gonna have to peel away a little bit further there. Still got some ultras coming around. The Queen's also trying to relocate a little bit. Drops just everywhere. ByuN really, again, trying to play this very controlling game. Really trying to abuse the bottom portion of the map. Is this map... I guess the problem with this map is that so many of the topside bases are so attackable from the bottom side. So if you can control the bottom, you really can control the center. Plus a watchtower to see everything as well. I mean, ByuN's position is incredible when you stop and look at it, right? When you just realize that everything that's kind of in control here for ByuN, you're like, oh man, like he gets to see so much of this game. So much of what Dark might try and do. Tank shots already firing it up. Roger Ravager already taking some pretty big hits. Couple throws of bars, but none of them ever really able to get close enough. And we're just going to give up this gold base. The drones evacuate. I think Dark has had enough of trying to hold on to this. He knows that this is maybe not worthwhile any longer. He's just going to let this one slide and yeah, work elsewhere on the map. Maybe he could take the top center base. This is somewhere that ByuN has no control over. Yeah, he's thinking the exact same thing. Top center base, there's no control over, right? So why the hell not maybe take this one? Because ByuN is extremely unlikely to turn his attention there, at least immediately. ByuN probably is going to try and push forward from here a little bit further. And it's going to offset a little bit of the bottom side of the map that ByuN is clearly able to take for himself, that Dark is not. ByuN's also mining his own gold base, obviously just from the wrong side. Never mind out the mineral patch on the top, doesn't care about the gas. Gas is very rarely going to be the limiting factor for a Terran player in TVZ. More snipes, Ultra still getting chased away. Good fungal at least is something, but I mean, it's snipe heaven right now. ByuN just sniping everything he sees. This game might actually not last that much longer because, I mean, Dog's been losing a lot. His rebuild is going to be 7 Broodlords. Going to try a kind of a last-ditch effort. And this, as a corrosive ball comes down, the ghosts continue to take some hits. Pull back feelings will be knocked down. The zombie's still cutting away at any possible opportunity. Another fungal growth drops. The bio splits apart once again. Parasitic bomb is going to get the medevac. Queen goes down. The Corruptor's still in the sky. Broodlord's coming through. Corruptor leading the charge. Having ourselves the Broods and the Ravagers, the Lings, the Infestors, Queens as well. A bit of everything just continuing through. Ghosts are going to come forward once more, sniping down some of these Broodlords. Zerglings are still trying to push on forward, taking away at a lot of those Zerglings, in fact, and a lot of progress made on those. More snipes coming out. The old Brood's still taking some damage. You really do want to just push through those. If the Broods go down, I do not think ByuN Dark really has much left to say in this game, and that would probably lead us to a little bit of a GG moment, most likely. I mean, Dark is continue to lose those Broods, maybe not immediately quickly, but definitely with some kind of pacing behind it. A couple more snipes still coming through. Broods are still being knocked away at for the moment. A couple Queens going down. Corrosive Val's trying to reach and move forward. That's another couple of snipes. There it is. Broodlord does go down. Fungal growths keep on landing. These medevacs gonna have to try and dodge away slow motion. They just about make it out of there. And Lings on the right side going to force a CC to lift off and back away as well. It's just keeping that pinned back at the moment too. But Ultras, more Lings all coming out. The Ghosts and the Marines are all producing. And a little bit of everything being brought up for the moment. I think it's actually going to counterattack through, which is nice from Dog, but again, there's just a long way to go to really fix a lot of the issues that Dog has in this game. He is, again, I like the idea that taking the top side of the map a little bit while ByuN's been so focused through the bottom center. I think that part's been very good for him. So yeah, I mean, if you can't ever mine off this gold base and then ByuN will start to take the top side, and then what? You know, then you're going to have this kind of issue again. If ByuN starts to pressure the top side a little bit, maybe then you're just going to be in forever trouble. And Dark will try every counterattack he can find. ByuN is essentially just trying to set up the refinery on this side of the map now, especially as you also have those minerals mined out. It opens access to this bottom side of the gold, so just a planetary there would actually go a long way to help him protect any run-bys in that position, etc. Just be nice. ByuN, yeah, just looking great. This is a gold base too. It's actually kind of ridiculous that he just gets a second gold base down here. It's kind of like the bottom side of the map is so valuable because, again, I think if you own the bottom side, you also deny the opponent on the bottom side. I actually think that has so much value on this map. maybe a little bit too much. Does that bottom side base need to be a gold? I really don't think it does. I think that puts a little bit too much emphasis on the south. The Ultra will just press forward. Will not have much luck. Another snipe goes down. Dark is max, so he's not in kind of like, oh, I'm getting out of this game mode right away, but it's definitely not a pretty max out, right? It's definitely not where he really wants to be against someone as good as ByuN. Ultra Infesta still moving its way around. A couple more corrosive valves coming out there. We're going to see some ghosts lining up some snipes once more. So a few shots coming about. A few lings trying to come in from the top side. Ultra's getting snapped down by those couple of siege tanks. The siege tank shots doing well also here for the moment. 42 more lings still in production. The +1 fly attack upgrade coming through. Advanced ballistics still building. ByuN will kite backwards. Ghost as well, trying to stay out of trouble as best they can. And these lings still just chase on in. I'm trying to get a CC up there, maybe just try and mine dark space. I mean, honestly, in a way, why the hell not? On another side of things, I'm like, yeah, a little bit of respect, please, you know? This is being streamed. Let's not make Dog hate you too much, because you still have to play a game 3 against him if you win this one. Dog is still alive, right? I mean, playing the top side of the map is definitely helping him. He's taking a lot of control there. It's definitely giving him... It's definitely going to make it more tough for ByuN to really fight in. CC's going to land there in a couple of moments. Advanced ballistics nearly done. 4 more liberators, a couple more siege tanks reducing. +3 armor is about to be done as well as the CC flies over the far left side. Looking to get landed over there in a couple of moments. Libs and orbitals still coming up. The additional corruptors all being brought through. Tank siege, Lib's position. Again, a couple of orbitals coming out. Corruptor's still halfway along for the moment. Couple Libs get themselves set up as the EMPs will come down. A couple of Infestors going to get hit pretty hard immediately. Shots coming through. The Liberators continue to zone for the moment. We do just press on up. The Spore Crawler will go down as well, so one Spore gets killed. Ghost and the ByuN still press on in for the moment. Let's see what else we can do. The Medivacs come over. Things get rid of the siege tank. That will go down. It is going to be a grab. I mean, it's nice that obviously Dark is able to put a bit of pressure on this bomb site because now ByuN's got to focus on the top. But look at the power that ByuN can have on the top. As he takes this base, he has a fortress to push forward from into this central base. And so how is Dark ever meant to hold the middle of the map? And if he doesn't hold the middle and ByuN's had the bottom, well, that's an issue. Dark has the top right hatchery set up as well, but that's not mining yet, and I don't think it will as the moment ByuN sees it. That's a pretty easy denial. It's so close to his bases. Again, it's about having that stronghold, somewhere to push forward from. As long as ByuN has somewhere nearby to push forward from, he's almost always going to have a good time. And that is absolutely the issue that I think Dark is facing. As well, when you're kind of considering these games, usually a Zerg likes to have a bank built up so they can rebuild instantly. That's usually how they succeed against a Terran. Dark is max, but he does not have a bank built up, right? Like, he is not set to continue to play a successfully long, drawn-out game here. He is not really going to be able to afford to rebuild multiple times over out of nowhere. As ByuN is trying to take this gold in the bottom left, he's just trying to mine on the side that is meant to be dark, so also just trying to find something out of that. A few more lings wrapping around. Those ghosts will stand and fight their ground, hold their ground. A few more Zerglings being picked off there. Let's do shove things back a little bit. I'm just going to say no. You don't get to mine from this. If I'm not allowed to have your gold base, you're not allowed to have your gold base. ByuN is such a bully in this game. He really is. Eldorado providing a pretty stellar TVZ, especially if you're a Terran fan. I think it's very easy to enjoy this one. Especially the way ByuN's played. And I do think, again, credit goes to ByuN because he's really come onto this map. First time he's ever played a professional game on it. And he's absolutely playing it with, like, a style that makes so much sense. He's making it look busted. Like, you know? He's coming in with the preparation to say, cool, I know exactly what's going to be good here. I know how to make this look extremely good for me. And yeah, he really did just make it look busted through and through. Going in the top right-hand side, our blue Zerg player from Dragon Kaiser Gaming. It is Dark. Takes on the red Terran from the Shopify Rebellion in the bottom left. It is ByuN. Game 3 of the best of 3. Coming down to this. Where is ByuN Mana? ByuN Mana can't play until ByuN finishes versus Dark because ByuN can't play 2 series at the same time. So believe it or not, ByuN Mana will just have to be on hold for the moment. I know this freaking streamer always delaying games for his own good. I bet ByuN could play 2 series at the same time, and I'm just holding him back. Yeah. I'm just making excuses for my own greedy gain. God, I wish this streamer would just start the games already, man. He's sitting in this TVZ for so long. Obviously, every match will be streamed here, guys, to just be a bit more serious. Every match will be shown here in today's games, so everything will be on this stream. Fencing goes down on the low ground. It's going to have a Reaper coming up, the command center coming through. Orbital command getting built into play as well. Again, a little bit of everything settled here for the first few moments. ByuN, is this a bug? Is what a bug? I don't know if he's just trying to make some silly joke or if he's found something that's bug-like. I didn't see what happened. Doc says, I guess so. But the fact that ByuN's playing a Reaper expand? Or I clearly didn't see if something actually happened, so I don't think anyone really knows. Alright, couple CCs coming up. We do have our link speed coming along. Reaper hops up, Reaper hops down. A little jump up spot there between those gold minerals. Sacred Isle, this in-base expand map. So ByuN taking immediate advantage of that. Dark will not. Dark will just take 3 bases as per usual. He sees ByuN being super greedy. He will be greedy himself. And then he has a free 4th base to take on the in-base whenever he wants to. He can't build gas. There's no way we've seen this map multiple times and no one's complained about not being able to build gas in the main base, right? I don't think he needs a second gas yet with the fact he's going triple racks. Why are you acting like you're good? Doc says this map's also built by you. Oh my god. What if ByuN is an undercover map maker, guys? And he's making all the maps Terran. Oh, I see what it... I see. Fish1, thank you so much for the 18-month resub. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for the 18 year and a half. Hell yeah, thank you so much. Hope life is treating you well. Happy holidays. Do you have a couple of Queens, Overlords, drones all in production? Stimpak and combat shields still building up here with a few more Marines also coming out of that. Just getting all of that on the go. Diddly 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 dum dum. It's already starting to push across, so ByuN putting a little bit of pressure on the map as well. Kind of taking a little bit of a forward stance here. Let's see, a couple of the speed zones in the center. That's actually a blocked off area of speed zones either side. You could get units trapped there easily if you're not paying attention, if you're not being careful. So that is 100% a position to be very wary of. That is like a trap waiting to happen, no doubt. As a couple of Evo chambers continue through, the Baneling Nest is still in production. And the 1-1 upgrades, the barracks, and all the rest continue through for the moment. Gexy, 1 year resub on the Prime. Thank you very much for supporting all this time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciate it. As Single Marine just gets rid of that Zergling. Obviously, with ByuN playing such a macro, broad game, he made a bit of a fake move out with Marines, but reality is this is just going to be a very slow going game where not a lot really happens for a while here. Gonna be very slow going. There's another SCV. Let's move to the front. Gonna mine those gold minerals a little bit. Station pick coming up. Melee upgrades. Baneling speed being produced right now is. Let's get a little bit of everything on the goes. Now the Marine's going to start moving forward. Mine out some of these minerals. Start to get this to move forward a little bit. That feels a little bit like Zen. You guys remember Zen, the map that had like a mineral block on a ramp, and that very narrow ramp was gave access down. Was there a mineral block on the ramp on Zen? This map's made me think of Zen a couple of times, I think just with the layout and stuff. There's our Marines. It's going to come straight through here, and the medevacs will heal up a little bit. Lings continue to wrap around, and well, the wraparound is good enough to force the liftoff at least. This map is inspired by Zen. It probably makes a lot of sense then. It might also be in my head because I probably read that yesterday, and it's just... I think I've got some genius idea, like, oh, this really feels like Zen, And meanwhile, I actually read this yesterday, and my brain just forgot to make me feel smart today. It's got to do everything to make me feel good, when it can. Don't usually do myself any favors. Army continues into the center as like a little bit more creep gets cleaned out. The Marines pull back. Drop in the back corner, maybe a little bit stuck, but at least it's something the Dark has to continue respecting. If you don't respect that, that can go very badly wrong very quickly. And there's the rest of these Marines just going to move up through into the center. Factory coming up, 2-2 upgrades on the way. Ling Bang still going to continue through. The Marines are going to be there to greet those Lings very quickly. The Banes also thinking about getting involved. In the end, they're going to decide to hang back a little bit further. 2-2 upgrades still on the way out. Missile turret coming up. Medevac Marine Marauder all coming out as well. Bio is going to be in the center. The Wooden Mines didn't burrow right away then. For a moment I thought they were going to maybe be in a lot of trouble, but turns out to be fairly okay. Not too much of a problem, it seems. That's going to be having, obviously, the start to push back on the creep spread. Because again, ByuN's been fairly passive this far in the game, so Dark has really been able to get his bases up, his creep spread out. This is the sort of thing which ByuN now needs to start responding to a little bit, finding some answers for. Otherwise, Dark will continue to just accelerate into the later stages of the game. The later this game goes, typically the better off a Zerg is going to feel. The CC here is going to get killed, not cancelled. The Ling that could finds a kill on a command center. Oh, mistake from ByuN, just not thinking that one single Zergling was going to cause so much trouble as it did. Marines still push through. Drones are in a bit of trouble here. And we go across, looking to try and take some position as ByuN. I mean, he's not really close to any bases. He's still got those medevacs in the top, by the way. They've just slipped out through the northern side of the in-base, so they have just about slipped away. So that drop play has been alive and well throughout this also. Marauder still pressing forward. Obviously, you can play around these ramps and ledges so that you're a little bit safer than you might typically expect to be on a map like this, right? A little bit of a safer position than you might have expected. It's still coming across. They're actually going to go after that hatchery. Hatchery going to take a bit of a blasting. Marine Marauder continue to kite away, letting the Marauders be in the front. The Marines going to kite backwards. The main-base expansion has fallen, so ByuN fighting over here, succeeding in the main. I mean, as he pushes forward there, a couple of Banes go down. Dark supply is absolutely plummeting, and Dark just cannot find a good fight to save his life on these last couple of maps. These maps have been very good positionally-wise for ByuN, and ByuN really played very well to what the maps gave him, right? The maps gave him those positions, they gave him those setups, and boy, did he make sure to